Hey, this is Erica from Ever Educating, and recently I just finished an audiobook called 100 Ways to Change Your Life by Liz Moody. And I thought that I'd share my top 5 of these 100 for those of you who might not have the time to read the whole book, though I will link it below. And for me, what I liked about the book is that each chapter, each of the 100 were very short, and that they are broken up into different categories as well. So again, this is just my top 5 and then 2 bonus ones because I have whole videos already on these 2, which was a nice coincidence. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one was in the category of how to live your best life. And the way to do so was to do N of 1 experiments. So basically doing experiments with just you, right, as the N, right? You are the whole population of the experiments. And the idea here is you can do this various ways. So this might be health-wise. Maybe you experiment. Have you heard that melatonin is good for sleep, but you're not sure if it'll work for you? Well, take a month, try it out, and see if you notice any difference. If you do, in a positive way, great, keep doing it. If you see a bit of a change, but it's negligible, maybe you don't want to continue with it. If you see a negative change or no change, then you don't do it anymore. And now you know, right? Because you've experimented with this thing that you've heard is good for you, right? So if you want to do this in your productive life, like, okay, well, you've heard about doing a writing routine, writing every day. Again, take a month, experiment. You're going to write every morning for 15 minutes before work. And again, see, did that work out well? Were you able to stick to it? How did you feel about your writing? So the idea here is just if you keep experimenting with different things, then you will find your best life because you'll figure out what works for you. Because maybe 100 writers tell you should write every day in order to be successful, but if it doesn't work for you, then what's the point? You're better off experimenting and finding out, actually, I work best when I'm writing every other day. Or if I take a Saturday morning and I write for 3 hours at a time, So this was the first idea here, is to do N of 1 experiments. In the section called How to Stick to Your Habits and Achieve Your Goals, there are 2 in particular that I want to point out here. So the first one is using the fresh start method. And so the idea here is that fresh starts are often very motivational to get and create change in your life. But a lot of people have very few beliefs about what constitutes a fresh start. Okay, so they might say, well, I want to get healthier, but I'm going to wait till January 1st because we're here in November. Well, there's tons of fresh starts that can exist if you change your mindset. So for example, Sunday could be a fresh start day because it's the first day of the week and you have a whole day, if you're not working, to get into the zone, figuring out what are your goals going forward, what do you want to change, what do you want to do, and then starting that on Monday. Monday is a fresh start because it's the first day of a work week or school week. You might say the first of the month is a fresh start because, again, a new month has just started. The first day of a new quarter in the year. So it might be a holiday. So this might be a religious holiday that signals a new year for you, or it might be your birthday, right? A new year of life, and so it's going to be a fresh start. So the idea is to kind of figure out what are fresh start days, right, or moments that you can use to motivate you to create change, to start doing a habit, to start achieving your goals. Okay, so again, this video will go up on a Saturday, right? So maybe your fresh start is tomorrow, right? The first day of the next week in your life. What is it that you want to do with this fresh start? Figure that out today and then start doing it tomorrow. And the other one in this category that I also liked as well was to use a success framework. And in this case, it was the WOOP framework, so WOOP. And so the idea here is, the W is, okay, what is your wish? What do you want to accomplish when it comes to habits and goals, right? What is your wish? Write that down. Maybe there's more than one. And then after that, the first O is, what's the ideal outcome, right? So if your wish is to become a published author, right? What's your ideal outcome? Becoming a full-time author, having 100 books out into the world by the end of your career, going to do school visits, publishing just one copy for your kids. So what is the best outcome for this wish of yours, right? So think, the sky's the limit here. And then the second O is, well, what are the obstacles that you might face when it comes to achieving this outcome tied to your wish? Okay, so what are the obstacles here? Brainstorm that. And the P is plan how to overcome these obstacles. Okay, so it's really giving you a sense of diving deep into what your goal is, what your wish is, and how you can accomplish it, because you're thinking about what you want to achieve, right? So you're thinking of like, hey, here's the ideal. This is a great thing to think about, to work towards, but you're also thinking about how to overcome the obstacles you might face to get to that outcome. The third one is in the section of how to be more successful, and it's to start an advice club, which I thought was really interesting. So it's almost like starting, a cohort, right, of colleagues, or starting an accountability group. So the thing here is, what is something that you want to improve about your life, or that you think you're an expert in, and you have a great possibility to mentor or coach others, and create a group where you're sharing advice with each other. So, you can get more motivated to do things when you're actually giving advice of, hey, morning routines work great for X and Y reason. Or if you're telling that to somebody, you're like, you know what, maybe I should make sure I'm keeping up with my morning routine because I am saying it's a great thing and I've been slacking recently, right? So it can be motivational in that way, but also just a way, again, to be more successful because like, hey, I need help with this aspect of my resume. I know you have this skill, right? Can you help me, improve on the skill? And in return, you are looking for help with this thing and I'm great at this thing, so I can help you out. So basically creating a group of people who you can really build each other up and offer help and advice and get help and advice in return so that you all succeed together. The fourth one is in the section of how to be happier, and it's the idea of making a life is never boring list. And so I can see this as being something to help you be happier, but also potentially be more productive as well. But the idea here is to have items on your list that are what she called time confetti. So if you have a minute to spare, or 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 2 hours, having a list of things that take specific amounts of time so that you have less decision fatigue when that moment comes. So if, I have 10 minutes before my next class starts, rather than scrolling through TikTok for 10 minutes, you have this list on your phone and it's like, okay, well in 10 minutes, I can do 2 5-minute meditations. I can call my mom. I can go for a walk around the building. So just having ideas of different things you can do that, require different amounts of time, so that when you have those spare moments, you're not, turning to time junk, right? You're turning to these positive things that can make your life better. And so that was something really interesting. I'm definitely working on this list now to get a sense of, from 1 minute to 5 minutes, all the way to an hour, what are different types of activities that would really help me have a better life that I can do, rather than, again, going to social media or just checking my emails or whatever the case may be. So those were my top 5. I might have miscounted at some point, but I promise those are 5 of them. So you have the N of 1 experiments, the fresh start method, the success framework, the starting an advice club, and then having that time confetti list. There are other ones in this book that you hear all the time, so I didn't want to include it in this video. So for example, figuring out what your why is, overcoming procrastination, that kind of stuff. But there are 2 extra ones that I want to point out because I have whole videos on them. And so one was creating a morning routine, and the second one is doing things that matter to you, like aligning your life to what matters. And so I do have videos on those that I'll link below. One is about me creating my ideal morning routine, and the second one was about how to align your life to your values. And so those are 2 videos to kind of watch next if you found this kind of video interesting. And again, I'll link the book below in case you want to try it out for yourself and give it a read. So I'll see you next time with a new video. I'm actually going to show you my office in the next video because the fresh start method really inspired me to just do a little overhaul of my office. And so I'll show you what it looks like and the items I feel make it a really dream situation for productivity. So that'll be my video for next time.